Good evening, folks, and welcome to a special episode of Beer Rating with Sean Connors. I probably should call it, it's not really a special episode, I guess you call it an extra episode. Basically, I've been looking for this glass for a while. This is called a Teku glass, and it's supposed to be the ultimate beer sampling glass. So I'll talk a little bit more about it as we go along, but I've been looking for this glass for a while. I finally found one today at one of my local craft breweries, and while I was there, they had a beer there that the name caught my attention, and I ended up getting a small growler, and I don't want to wait to drink it, so I've decided I was going to have it tonight. So I figured I'd do a review. Now the name of this beer, have to bear with me, this is the actual name, John Jacob Lichtenhainer Schmidt. That's the name of the beer, John Jacob Lichtenhainer Schmidt. And it is a sour smoked German wheat beer. The name alone got my attention, and I just picked it up. So actually I'm going to give my glass a quick cold water rinse as per normal. I'm actually going to use two different beer glasses. This is the one I picked up today. Like I said, it's called a Teku glass, T-E-K-U. This is the one I picked up today. It's supposed to be the ultimate beer sampling glass. I have my doubts. I'm a little skeptical, so we'll see. And this is just your regular tulip beer glass. So I'm actually going to use both just to see if there's a difference. As I said, I'm a little bit skeptical. Like I said, it's a sour smoked German wheat ale. So I'm going to pour both of them up. And of course I'm going to end up drinking both of them. So I'll talk a little bit about the beer in the brewery, sir. The category of style, as I said, the name is John Jacob Lichtenhainer Schmidt. And the name, type of beer, I had no idea. I've never heard the name before. So I actually sent a message to the brewery and asked them, okay, well, I just bought this beer. You know, what's the base of the beer? I know it's a sour smoked beer, but what's the base? Is it a blonde, a pale, a gose, whatever? They came back, they said it's actually a Lichtenhainer is the style of beer. And the style of beer is Lichtenhainer, and basically it's a sour smoked German wheat ale. And the brewery I got it from is the Port Rexton Brewery, just outside of St. John's in the community of Port Rexton. They've been there since 2016, I believe. It's two ladies, or a couple, a married couple. One's from one's from Newfoundland, one's from Toronto. They're basically big beer enthusiasts. I guess they met in Nova Scotia and just went from there. And they specialize in small batch breweries. You go on the website, this one's not even listed. And the brewery they have, it's a schoolhouse turned community center turned brewery. Alright, let's give it this. Interesting enough, it's the same beer, but I'm getting a little bit more of an aroma from this one. It's different. Flavor-wise, I don't see the difference. It's not bad, but it's definitely different. You can definitely get the sourness, and for me, the smoke kind of lingers. Now, the alcohol content in this one is alcohol content 4.1, so it's a little bit low, but that's actually quite common with Lichtenhainers. The name actually comes from a village in Germany, Lichtenhain. I'm probably not pronouncing it properly, but bear with me. If you've never heard before, you're probably like me, and I actually have a book here, The Oxford Companion of Beer, and this is like the beer Bible, and it's not even listed in the beer Bible. You do a Google search, you'll find a couple entries, but not many. My understanding is it was popular at one time, about a century ago. It became non-popular. People didn't really go for it anymore. And nowadays with craft breweries, I mean, they're always looking for something new and exciting, and I guess the Port Rexton found this one. Not really sure what to make of it. I honestly don't know. It's not bad. The smoke kind of stays with you for a little while. Not really a bad thing, but I don't think it's my thing. Talk a little bit about this glass. As I said, the name is, well, it's pronounced it's spelled Teku, and it's pronounced Teku. That's what I got. And basically, the name comes from the people who invented the glass. Basically, it was the Italian beer expert and an Italian brewery. They did some work with a German glassmaker, and basically, they want the universal beer tasting glass. And this is what they came up with. And that was back in 2006, so it's been about 13 years. It's only the last couple years it's becoming, not even, I was going to say popular, but I wouldn't even say popular. It's only the last couple years you could find it in Canada. I assume it'd be the same for all of North America. And it's supposed to enhance the flavor and concentrate the aromas. And you might be asking how they do that. And we'll talk about that in a second. It's funny because I actually said from the get-go I was getting more aroma from this one, the tasting glass, but from this one I'm getting more flavor. Not a big difference, but I'm not really a big fan of stem glassware either, but wow. It's definitely got the sourness, the smokiness. It's not quite there for me yet. All right, but I'm going to talk a little bit about this glass before I go any further. You're probably saying, how does it enhance the flavors? This is what I got, and actually, if you go on my Facebook page, I heard about this glass through a post that the Beer Sisters had. And I actually had that link on my Facebook page, and basically, it's their post, and they link it to an article about the glass and tells you all about the glass. And how it enhances the flavor and concentrates the aroma. It says that the wide bottom, down here, is supposed to boost the aroma of the beer. They said the narrow middle right here, is supposed to help the bubbles stay compact and last longer. And that's basically, they say that's critical because the foam on the beer basically traps the aromatics and delivers it to the nose. And then they finally say the top of it, if you look at it, I'm not sure how well you can see, I'm just going to zoom in it. If you look at the shape of the glass, so you got the wide bottom, you got the narrow middle, and if you look at the top right there, they say the top here, the lip, what they're calling it, it says the lip actually fits comfortably on the lip of the drinker, and what that does supposedly encourages sipping, not gulping. Remember, it's a sample glass. It's not a beer drinking glass. And they also say when using it, you only want to fill it about a half to 3/4 full. You don't want to fill it any more than that. And they say once again, it's a tasting glass, so you don't need the full bottle, which is probably one of the reasons I probably won't use it as my go-to beer glass. Yes, I like sampling beer, but the beers I sample, I sample them and I want to drink them. So I like to have something a little bit larger, personal preference. And they say you only fill it either halfway or 3/4. It says it leaves lots of room for the headspace, which allows the volatile aromatics to live inside the glass. If you ever pour a fresh glass of beer, you fill it right to the rim, you can see, the bubbles are coming up and it's kind of like popping out of the glass. Well, they say if you only leave it half to 3/4, those volatile aromatics, they stay in the glass rather than pouring outside the glass. Realistically, in my opinion, you could say that with any beer glass, just pour halfway or 3/4. But I think, unless you're a cicerone, which, a beer expert, you're probably more interested in drinking the beer than sampling the beer. That's my 2 cents on it. And like I said, I'm not really getting a big difference. I did get aroma, and I'm still getting that, funny enough. The only thing I can think of is that with the shape of the beer glass, the aromatics are kind of staying here. They're not open as much, but I could be wrong. That's my 2 cents. You know, it's funny because earlier I was getting the more flavor from this one. Now again, I'm getting more flavor from the Teku glass. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong as well. I know there's different variations. However, the name Teku comes from the names of the 2 people that made the glass. And from what I read, they pronounce it Teku. T-A-Y, Teku, K-O-O. I know, it's hard to, not a big difference. Alright folks, so that's my episode for this evening. As I said, it's not my regular episode. I kind of picked this up. Name caught my attention, so good marketing from them. And when I seen smoked sour, that kind of blew me away. I've never heard of that. And last week I had my first sour, so it interests me. It's not a bad beer. I don't know if I'd go out and, you know, be, oh my god, I got to get another, but I definitely would drink it again. I think realistically, I'm comfortable giving it a 3.0, which is basically a good beer. In my opinion, it's not a very good beer, but it's definitely a good beer. Take another couple sips, see if I still agree. It's got lots of flavor, I'll give it that much. Once again with the tulip, I'm finding I'm getting a little bit more flavor from the tulip. Not sure why, but hey, kudos to the tulip glass. So there you go folks, that's my rating for this extra episode of Beer Rating with Sean Connors. Once again, the beer is Jacob Lichtenhainer Schmidt. And the style of beer is Lichtenhainer, which is a sour smoked German wheat beer. And once again, it's from the Port Rexton Brewery here in Newfoundland. If you're coming by, it's funny because on the mainland, Newfoundland's an island in eastern Canada, and craft breweries here in the last couple of years, they've been, I mean, you look on the Western Canada, Central Canada, you know, several years ago, if not a decade or two ago, the craft breweries took off, and we're a little bit behind the times with regards to craft breweries, but in the last year or two, or maybe 3 or 4 years, they've really taken off. And it's pretty exciting for beer drinkers in the province. So, and they're coming out with some handy ones, and this is a prime example. So once again, that's my rating, 3.0 for my Jacob Lichtenhainer Schmidt beer. Thanks folks, enjoy your weekend. Until next beer, as always, enjoy responsibly. Cheers.